All right, if you're dipping your toes into the world of freelancing in the US, you've probably come across this thing called a Form 1099. And yeah, it can look a little intimidating at first, but don't you worry. In this quick explainer, we're going to break it all down for you.
Okay, so it happened. You check the mail, and there it is. A Form 1099. It's not the usual W-2 you might be used to, and your first thought is probably, uh-oh, what is this? What am I supposed to do with it? Totally normal reaction. But hey, take a breath. You're in exactly the right place. Let's walk through this together.
So let's start with the absolute basics. Before we get into the how, let's figure out the what. What even is a Form 1099? It all comes down to this idea of non-employee compensation.
So, a Form 1099, think of it like a heads-up from a client to the IRS. It's officially called an information return, which basically means the business is saying, hey, just so you know, we paid this person for their work. But, and this is the key part, they aren't our employee. That one little distinction changes everything about how your taxes work. You're not an employee, you're an independent contractor.
Now, you might be wondering, why me? Why did I get this form? Well, it almost always comes down to one magic number, $600. If any single client pays you $600 or more for your work in a year, they are generally required to send both you and the IRS a Form 1099. It's kind of like the tripwire that officially puts that income on the IRS's radar.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, getting that 1099 in the mail is more than just an FYI. It signals a huge shift in how you need to handle your taxes. Seriously, it's time to start thinking like a business owner, because in the eyes of the IRS, that's exactly what you are now. And here is the absolute biggest difference you need to understand. If you've had a W-2 job, you know your employer handles withholding taxes from your paycheck, right? Well, with a 1099, that doesn't happen at all. You get paid the full amount, every cent, which sounds great until you realize nobody has taken out any taxes. That job is now 100% yours.
So what taxes are we even talking about? Well, the big one you need to know is the self-employment tax. It's a hefty 15.3%. See, in a normal job, you pay half of the Social Security and Medicare taxes, and your employer pays the other half. But now, you're both the employee and the employer, so you gotta pay both sides. That's 12.4% for Social Security and 2.9% for Medicare.
And here's another thing that trips people up. You can't just set all that money aside and pay a giant tax bill in April. No, the IRS wants its money as you earn it. This means you need to make what are called estimated tax payments 4 times a year. The deadlines are usually April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and then January 15th of the next year. You definitely want to mark those on your calendar.
Okay, I need everyone to pause for a second because we have to talk about something incredibly important, especially if you are an international student here in the US. For you, getting a Form 1099 isn't just about taxes. It can have implications that are way more serious. We're talking about your immigration status. So please listen up. I'm going to read this next part word for word because it is just that critical. It says, students must ensure 199 work is legally authorized under their visa status to avoid immigration issues. Let me repeat that. Legally authorized. This is not a gray area. It's a hard and fast rule. So let's just put this in the plainest terms possible. Unauthorized work is a visa violation, period. It doesn't matter if someone offered you a great project or if you got a 1099 for it. If that work wasn't explicitly allowed under your visa, you could be putting your entire future in the US at risk. This is absolutely not a risk worth taking. So, who needs to be extra careful here? We're talking about F1 students, yes, even if you're on CPT or OPT, and anyone on a J1 visa. And here is the golden rule, the one thing you have to remember. Before you say yes to any freelance gig, before any money changes hands, you must talk to your designated school official, your DSO. They're the only ones who can give you the correct answer on what you're allowed to do. Okay, I know that last part was heavy, but it was so important to cover. Now let's switch gears and get back to the money side of things, because there's actually some good news here. We're going to talk about how to legally lower that tax bill. Remember, you're a business now, which means you get to use business expenses to your advantage.
This is probably the most important financial concept for any freelancer to understand. You do not pay taxes on all the money you make. No way. You only pay taxes on your net profit. So what's that? It's simple. It's your total income minus all of your valid business expenses.
and you might be surprised by what counts as a business expense. We're talking about anything that's ordinary and necessary for your work. Did you buy a new computer for your projects? That can be a deduction. What about that design software you subscribe to every month? Yep, that too. Do you use part of your home exclusively for your work? That's the home office deduction. Even tracking the miles you drive to meet clients can save you a ton of money.
Hopefully, this is all starting to make a lot more sense. So, to pull it all together, let's go over a super simple checklist. Just 4 steps to keep you organized and on the right side of the IRS.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Step 1. You obviously need a social security number or a taxpayer ID to file taxes in the first place. Step 2. You need to give a Form W-9 to your clients. That's just a simple form with your info so they know how to pay you and send you that 1099 later. Step 3, and trust me on this is a game changer. Get a separate bank account for your business. It makes bookkeeping a million times easier. And finally, Step 4, use the Form 1040-ES to figure out and pay your quarterly taxes.
So, if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. A Form 1099 is not just some boring text document. It's a signal. It's your official invitation to start acting like a CEO, the CEO of You Incorporated. It comes with new responsibilities, for sure, but also new opportunities. So the real question is, are you ready to step up and run your business?